he was working a job as a used car salesman. He was raising a family. They had Wendy in 1973 and Mary in 1975, and then their favorite son John in 1982. And all of this time, look at that cute family. All of this time, up until 1987, volunteering as they served. And what an awesome opportunity for all of us as Dan gave and Cheryl gave their time, their talents, and their treasures to each person in here, building the place up from CLC to where we are today. And we are so grateful for all of those hours of ministry that Dan and Cheryl put into this church, into the people, into the ministries, and into our lives. We're so grateful to see that they understood the value of volunteerism, and they acted on it. And you know, this place, here at Canyon View Vineyard Church, you'd be surprised to know the number of people it takes in volunteer time to keep this place running on a weekend. It's over 300 volunteers for one weekend here at the Vineyard. And it's volunteers who are nursery workers, children's ministry teachers, youth workers, ushers, greeters, folks in the information booth, the worship team, a medical team, a finance department, a maintenance department, a security team, a guy who comes in here on Friday and walks by each chair making sure everything is even with a pole to make sure the seats are far enough apart. We have sound booth folks who volunteer, overhead operators, ministry and prayer teams, communion servers, bread makers, bulletin stuffers, people in the coffee shop and the bookstore. You see, it takes a lot of volunteerism to keep this place running. And it started with two people who acted on the call to volunteer their time. And so you have to understand that here at the Vineyard, we don't look at the job of keeping this church going as fallen on the pastors or the staff. But here at the Vineyard, we say every person's in the priesthood. Every member is a minister. And we are all called to serve. And we have to let that sink in, friends, that we all have this call. And is there any benefit to this? Is volunteering just and serving just for the organization that's the happy recipient of our time or our talent? No. You know, I went searching out because I had read this, but I found the Time magazine from January 2005 that was dedicated to the science of happiness. And I love that finally the world, the media, they have discovered something shocking, something revolutionary, something that is world-changing, but certainly not something new. There's a reference in this magazine to a 6-year study about the secret of happiness. And for the past 6 years, there was this group of researchers who were looking into what really makes people happy. And what they found is astonishing. The happiest people on earth are people of faith. As a matter of fact, more specifically, they are people who have a relationship with Jesus Christ and people who live beyond themselves. People who understand that they've got to be living for something greater, and that the church and serving God gives them an opportunity to live for something greater instead of just me, me, me. So what you can see from this is in giving away your life, instead of just taking it in and thinking you have to always receive, when you give it away, that's when you're really happy. And when we're going to give you an opportunity in just a couple of weeks, we're going to throw a big volunteer expo around here. And when you come to that volunteer expo, I hope you remember 3 things. One of those is that we are all called to serve. Every one of us, we are all called. And second all, that there's a place for you here. There's a place for you to serve. I read off a list of them, but there are many other places that you can serve inside this church, and we're going to help you find that place that is just right for you. And oh yeah, I told you 3. It will make you very happy. Which is a wonderful segue into the 5th ingredient of serving, which is enjoyment. Enjoyment. And isn't it great that serving brings such enjoyment? I asked Dan and Cheryl, tell me some things that bring you enjoyment. And they said, watching lives change, and baptisms, and sending people off to go on missions, helping people find what Dan calls their sweet spot in serving. Watching kids' lives being changed because of Jake and DJ and Marilyn and the folks who work in the youth department. Watching people grow, seeing the hundreds of volunteers here each week, and watching them serve so happily. Being a church to the other churches by hosting the Love and Respect Conference and the Da Vinci Training, the Narnia Outreach, the Leadership Summit. Knowing that our community is cared for by this church and all the servant evangelism that goes on. Seeing the number of people getting involved in small groups and being touched and their lives being changed as part of a small group ministry. Again, hundreds of volunteers. The nursery running out of room because we have a very prolific group of people here who just keep bringing babies. And they said church plants. And no, not like these pretty flowers down here. But church plants, they're the folks who leave the vineyard, leave our vineyard, and go plant a vineyard church someplace else. Like these folks, Kirk and Jane Yamaguchi.
Hey, Dan and Cheryl, I can't believe 25 years of ministry. And as I think about 25 years, I think you guys have been in ministry longer than I've been alive. But I just wanted to let you guys know that as we've been pastoring the vineyard down here in Canyon City, that we think of you guys often and the influence that you guys have been in our lives and in our ministry here. And all of Canyon City and Fremont County, they have you guys to be thankful for, that you guys have demonstrated to us humility, integrity, stick-to-itiveness to the ministry, and we are seeing the fruit of that as our church continues to grow, and we're in the process of building a new facility because we've grown out of the place that we're at. We just have you guys to be thankful for. Thank you for what you've done in our lives that helped the ministry here in Canyon City.
And Dan and Cheryl, I just have to remember the time that you guys took us to lunch before we were ready to move to Canyon City. And if I remember, I think it was at Red Lobster, and I remember you asking if we would ever plant a church. And I know Kirk laughed, but I think inside of me I kind of wondered if that may be what God would have us to do someday. I don't know if Kirk ever even knew that. But we just thank you that you guys believed in us, and you really were there for us. You've been friends to us, and you also have modeled just an incredible gift to us in what you guys have been through with Cheryl's illness. And I know we often look at that and just see your strength and your faithfulness through this time that's been difficult for you guys. So we really thank you for being there for us, and I know you guys have always been someone that we can call on when we have questions. I know from the very beginning we didn't know anything what we were doing, and I know you guys were always great at answering our questions, and we could always come to you with anything, and we just appreciate you guys.
God bless you, Dan and Cheryl. We love you. Have a great time.
Oh, great story, great people. They're enjoying serving. Dan and Cheryl have enjoyed serving, and I think one of the reasons they enjoy serving so much at the Vineyard is what we're known for, and that's Vineyard music. And we sang today some great old Vineyard songs. Wasn't that awesome? And enjoyed that. And Cheryl has this really neat gift. Cheryl writes songs. And just about every big event, birthday, anniversary, some special occasion, Cheryl will write a song so that you can remember the event. And I thought a great personal tribute for Dan and Cheryl would be if I would write them a song. And invite the worship team up here to sing with me. So, to add to your enjoyment, Dan, so to Dan and Cheryl, you amazing Coxes, this one's for you. Ronnie? I need a little more. I got to hear it. The amazing Coxes coxes, how sweet the name. To people we hold dear. Sit back, relax, this tribute's yours for giving us 25 years. They started in a humble place, a church called CLC, built up to the Chrysler Cathedral, then moved to CVVC. 'Twas these friends who taught us how to serve, these friends who've served us well. Without this training, our hearts just faint, 'cause we would go to, oh, I won't say that. The good advice, it freely flows. The good book's a perfect fit. So where'd Dan get that common phrase? Build a bridge, get over it. As Jesus had his helpers 12, including just one traitor. The staff is great, we're all in accord, except the LA Raider. They didn't budge when things got rough, when life was rather gnarly. They stuck it out, put up with us, and Dan got him a Harley. Now Cheryl kindly deals with us, no one ever put down, and we still remember her starring role as the mayor of Veggie Town. Above many friends and family dear, stands alone a favorite one. But please don't tell the lovely girls that favorite one's their son. They thought the world was theirs to fort, from Europe to Afghanistan, and they're stuck in beautiful Grand Junction. I guess God had other plans. So amazing coxes, how sweet the name. To people we hold dear, we thank you both for all you give, and we want 25 more years. Do you see how enjoyable serving can be? Oh, I was going to say, I think it's an encore call. My parting comments to everyone here is this. For us, never ever underestimate the impact you can have in someone's life by serving. And for Dan and Cheryl, thank you. And these parting comments really sum it up for all of us.
Congratulations, Dan and Cheryl!
What do you think of Dan and Cheryl Cox?
I crazy. They're the best pastors around.
Dream I went to heaven, you were there with me. We rode upon the streets of gold, besides the crystal sea. We heard these angels singing, and someone called your name. We turned and saw this young man, he was smiling as he came. And he said, friends, you may not know me now. Then he said, but wait, you used to be my pastors. I thought you both were great. And every week you'd say a prayer before we all would part. And one day when you said that prayer, I had Jesus in my heart. So thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. Then another man stood before you. He said, remember the time a missionary came to your church. His pictures made you cry. You didn't have much money, but you gave it anyway. Jesus took the gift you gave, and that's why I'm in heaven today. So thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. One by one they came, for all your eyes could see, and each life somehow touched by your generosity. Little things